The very first god humanity ever prayed to didn't live in the sky. It wasn't the sun and it wasn't the rain. It was a thing actively hunting them in the dark. You know that irrational feeling of being watched when you turn the lights off? That is not a glitch in your brain. That is an evolutionary hangover. For 99% of human history, we were not the apex predators. We were on the menu. Before agriculture and before civilization, early humans were surrounded by biological killing machines. Saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, massive cave bears. We couldn't outrun them and we couldn't overpower them, so we did the only thing a terrified human mind could do. We started worshiping them. It is the ultimate Stone Age survival strategy. If you cannot kill the monster, you turn it into a god. Today we're looking at the chilling archaeological proof that humanity's first religion was built entirely around the fear of being eaten. To understand how this happened, we have to look inside our own heads. Neuroscientists point to a tiny almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. This is your threat detection center, and it is hardwired with a negativity bias. Your brain is literally programmed to ignore beautiful, peaceful things and hyperfixate on dangerous things. Why? Because the caveman who stopped to admire the sunset got eaten. The one who stared at the shadowy bush survived. Anthropologists call this the snake detection hypothesis. Primates evolved excellent vision specifically to spot camouflaged snakes. It is no coincidence that snake worship is one of the oldest, most universal religions on Earth. We took our deepest phobia and put it on a pedestal. But snakes were just the beginning. Let's travel back 40,000 years to Ice Age Europe. The landscape is frozen, brutal, and ruled by the cave bear. These things were monsters, weighing up to 2,200 pounds and standing 11 feet tall. When archaeologists excavated deep cave systems in France and Germany, they found something that broke their understanding of early humans. Deep in pitch-black chambers, they found caches of cave bear skulls arranged in perfect circles on stone altars. Anthropologists call this the Paleolithic bear cult. To early humans, the bear wasn't just meat, it was the lord of the forest. By ritually honoring the skull of the apex predator, they believed they were borrowing its power or begging it for a truce. But the most undeniable proof of predator worship comes from the world's oldest known temple. Welcome to Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey, built around 10,000 before Common Era. This site is 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. This was a massive religious center, but if you look at the towering pillars, you won't find carvings of the sun or gentle deer. The entire complex is a monument to terror. It is covered in venomous scorpions, aggressive wild boars, and vultures holding decapitated human heads. Why build a temple to the things that kill you? Psychologists call this an attempted locus of control. When you face a chaotic, terrifying world, you feel helpless. But if you assign a spirit to the scorpion, it becomes a god, and you can negotiate with a god. You create an illusion of control. As humans learned to farm, built walls, and forge weapons, we slowly climbed the food chain. But we didn't leave the predator gods behind. We absorbed them. The Egyptian goddess of war, Sekhmet, was a terrifying lioness. The ultimate warriors of the Aztec Empire dressed as jaguars. We merged the apex predators with our human form, creating hybrid gods. The fear evolved into reverence. We stopped being the prey, and we adopted the identity of the predator. Today, we live in concrete boxes. We have electric lights to banish the dark and locks to keep the wilderness out. We are safe, but our DNA remembers the Pleistocene. It is why our horror movies always feature an unstoppable monster hunting us in an enclosed space. It is why a rustling bush at night still makes your heart pound. That fear is your oldest inheritance. It kept your ancestors alive long enough to invent the very concept of a soul. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of human history, hit subscribe. And tell me in the comments, if you were stranded in the Ice Age, which predator would you have worshipped?